we are enabling a future of a lot more different application whereby on-chain FX, which we keep talking about, can now be a reality because it can be done at a transaction level via on-chain swap at a small denomination itself. And you can think about the capability that we can build on top of that because of the programmable nature of the blockchain. You can start thinking about digital vouchers, rewards, and point systems that can be built on top of this framework. And I'm very proud to have OKX Pay to be the first major player from the crypto side to actually adopt this technology.
How long have you been in this space?
Too long, I think.
In the last 11 years,
Okay.
what was the lowest point where you thought maybe this is the end of the road for me?
I never actually thought about it. Like, seriously, like there was never a moment that I think that is the world will come to an end. Or more like one of my friend's favorite meme that he has drawn before. It's like it's actually an internet meme, right? The house is burning, everything is burning, but you'll see them holding a beer and say, fine. Hello everyone, welcome to the future of stable money. I'm Tianwei, the co-founder and CEO of StraitsX. StraitsX is the regulated issuer of the one-to-one backed Sing dollar stablecoin and most recently the one-to-one backed US dollar stablecoin XUSD out of Singapore itself. In this series, we'll be exploring the evolving role of stablecoin in global payment, dive into topics like regulation, on-chain FX, programmability, and how these innovations are shaping the broader financial ecosystem. So today we are in the OKX office. As you can see, the setting's a bit different. And I have with me my fellow Singaporean, Gracie Lin.
Hi.
So Gracie is actually born on the National Day itself. So happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
And perhaps destined to play a role in shaping Singapore digital future, right? And Gracie is a rare breed from what I understand is, before this, an economist at MAS and then also a regulator. And then before joining OKX is also spending quite a bit of time at Grab itself, one of the leading or the unicorn that Singapore is known for producing in the recent years itself. And she stayed true to her goal in building system to serve real people safely and inclusively and sustainably. So I'm very happy to have her here today to share more about what she's going to be doing with OKX and how she's steering this company into the greater goods itself. So Gracie, so from MAS to Grab to now leading OKX, it must be a fascinating journey. What leads you to take on this role in the crypto space? I think I saw a bit of your previous news about this, but I would love to have you articulate here again today what you intend to do here.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. It's really been quite a fascinating journey. It's been a long journey. We'll see how many years. It's been a long journey. And so in some ways, I feel like this step into OKX is a natural continuation of my time at MAS, traditional finance, and then in traditional tech. It seems funny to say traditional. But that's kind of how we refer to that. And across the three, like you mentioned, it really, for me, has been about making an impact. And making an impact in how people live their lives. And if I think a little bit deeper, I think there's also been quite specific to how the system, financial system, economic system, serves the everyday person. In MAS, what I saw was that trust in the system cannot be taken for granted. Actually, a lot of people go really, really hard every day to make sure that stability is there and it's not a given. That trust needs to be built over time. And the trust is built when stability is consistent, even when things in the outside world are not as stable. So that's what I learned in LAS. Then when I went to Grab, what I saw was that innovation is important. And innovation is then what drives improvements in people's lives. And I also saw how powerful digital and financial interior can be. So that was my learning from Grab. And then if I combine the two together, I kind of feel like that's what I'm seeing in OKX now, right? The innovation that we're investing in, we're building every day, is what we hope will improve people's lives and improve financial inclusion for people. At the same time, we also truly believe that for this to be a sustainable way forward, it has to be built responsibly. It has to be secured. It has to be trusted. It has to be stable. And so, in a way, I feel like my job here is really to try and combine the best of both worlds, innovation as well as stability that have defined a large power. Okay.
Yeah, I really like what you just mentioned. Actually, like first, like trust takes time, and the consistency needs to continue driving innovation. Is actually something that needs to work hand in hand
Yes.
in order to not break this trust. That's really coming from where we were before this, because folks that know us that we've been in the payment space for the last 10 years. And one thing that I still do today is actually I read the reviews from the customers and I reply to customer support email, because I constantly tell the team that it only take one mistake or two mistakes to break the trust that has been built out over the years itself.
Yes.
And sometimes people talk about innovation, about the new technology. They forgot the fact that even though this whole entire framework of blockchain and stuff is about being trustless, humans needs to have something they can trust too.
Yes.
And the people that actually built the system, the face of it, actually plays a very important part for the technology to be adopted and for the sustainability long goal. So 100% believe what you're saying. So actually we are in some of the best time right now, and there's a lot of excitement in this space, especially with the passing of the Genius Act itself. I think the crypto industry in the whole is evolving from what I call noise to substance. And maybe this is only to hear from your point of view as a ex-regulator and now running OKX Singapore itself. How has the macro environment shifted since you have been in this journey itself?
Actually, my journey is only really from early last year. So it's not been that long.
So you're just right at the end. Well, actually, the main thing only happens over the last 8 months, because personally, we've been in this space for a while.
Yeah.
But I think I really start to see a lot of excitement when people start to talk about the passing of the Genius Act itself, which is like a landmark thing that happened in the industry.
Yeah.
And then you now have much more folks, institutional and others, coming to really talk about adopting this technology. So you're actually at the right timing. So we'd love to hear what you've been seeing on the ground.
Maybe before I talk about what I'm seeing on the ground, one thing I've actually noticed is that the building has been going on for many years now.
Exactly.
And you are right that the momentum has picked up over the last several months, right? And there are many reasons for that, including some of which you've mentioned. But even before that, for years, people have been quietly building yourself, right? You and your team, very great example of that. Our team as well, there were all these people that have been working really hard across our centers in Singapore, the US, and Hong Kong, who have been building these products and innovation. It takes time to build, and nobody sees that quiet. It's a real thing that happens, right? And that's conviction that really is what got us to where we are today. Of course, then as we get more attention, I think today what you're seeing is that we're seeing new participants come.
Yep.
Institutional adoption obviously is one big trend that we talk a lot about. Institutions are becoming more active, louder participants in this space. Regulators are also taking notice. They're starting to come in and making their expectations clear. So when you have institutions and your regulators that are coming together and telling the industry this is what we expect, that I think is really driving us all in a very clear direction, which is going to be very positive for our long-term momentum and for our sustainability, the mountain as well. So that is what I think has really been driving us forward. Obviously, the momentum is a very positive thing, but to sustain that in the longer term, we have to be very focused on things that regulators and institutions expect, which is security, consistency, compliance, of course, risk management. So some of these themes are starting to really become front and center of the industry in a way that maybe it wasn't before. And I think that really bodes well for.
Oh, definitely. I think, like I say, we've been in the space for quite a while. And one thing I always tell people that kind of a funny thing that is that overnight success takes 10 years.
Yeah, exactly right. It looks like.
So
wow.
It looks like you suddenly become like a very successful, like where OKX is at. But actually it takes years of building. Yep. And another key area is about, really opportunity comes because you're prepared, because you have been doing the hard work, laying the foundation, been building with your heads down. And when the momentum picks up, you'll be the first one to actually reap the rewards. So that itself is where, in some sense, Singapore has been a beacon of the world in terms of the regulatory side. But even though regionally we now talk about the Genius Act itself, Hong Kong HMAA just recently also published Stablecoin Act, and there's MiCA compliant out of Europe. But we would like to tell people, like as Singaporeans, that Singapore was one of the earliest. Since 2023, we already have a stablecoin framework and constantly giving clarity on the regulatory side around this whole industry, which is something that we've been doing year in, year out, because I think we have a lot to basically thank for the hard work that a lot of this predecessor and the regulator has put in over the years.
Yeah, someone told me recently that they see Singapore as a bit of a regulatory lighthouse. And I really like that. I think it's really true. And it's a very nice visual image, right, of what like you said, MAS has taken time, a lot has made a lot of progress over the past few years in establishing very clear standards, communicating their expectations to the industry, and just making it very openly communicating what they expect all of us to, the rules that they expect us to play by. I think that has been key for why Singapore is now the hub.
Definitely. So now, on a high note, we should be also talking about the builders part, which is with all this progress, right? What are the biggest challenges you think the crypto still needs to solve before it can truly go mainstream? Because even though, like I said, the trend has been really, encouraging, we are seeing a lot of adoption. But coming from where we are, from a payment space, from a cross-border payment side, we still think that actually we are still at day one. That the mainstream adoption have not really happened.
Yep.
And there's quite a bit of work that needs to be done. But we'd love to hear your take on what are the stuff that the industry as a whole still need to do more together.
I think the one that's very clear, people talk a lot about is user experience. The user experience is actually still quite complicated for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And until that can be addressed in a way that still protects what's good about crypto, about digital assets, about the infrastructure that's been built, right? In a way that protects that, to make it more seamless and more simplified for users, that's going to be key in improving or increasing adoption. So that's one. The second thing that I believe is already starting to happen, but more needs to be done, is building some kind of consistency across institutions that are in the space. So, like I said just now, right, regulatory expectations are very clear. And with that, the responsible players in the space are really doing everything we can to meet those expectations. But we're doing it in slightly different ways. I don't think there's been alignment across the players, the serious players in the space, on exactly how you should be meeting those standards and those expectations. And I believe that for the industry to really move ahead and build that trust, which would then drive adoption, it really has to be that these standards are then non-negotiable. These standards are applied in a very consistent way across the industry, across the ecosystem. Yep. And then that's going to be what's required to drive that momentum, increase that momentum, and drive more adoption in the future.
Yeah, I have to say personally that I think OKX has invested a lot into user experience itself. I'm personally a user of the Web3 wallet. I think some of the best I've seen in years, coming from a lot of different players. But at the same time, like that vision, which I think we are commonly aligned of, and also I believe the regulators around the world are, is that I personally believe that Web3 and a lot of this technology on the blockchain side is a back-end innovation. And what really truly will bring the next gen wave of users and mainstream adoption is when all this technology disappear behind the scene.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that we've been doing on the cross-border payment, like previously with Grab and Ali, is a good example on it, where the end-to-end experience, user will not even know that there's stablecoin being involved. They just get faster, better experience, which is something that I think all of us really want to see.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, one of the things that we believe a lot in is that self-custody is the future. But self-custody, I think, can feel quite complicated to a lot of users, right? Like, what does that mean? Is it secure? How do I protect it? So, and then that is probably also going to be a bit nerve-wracking for regulators. Because then what does it mean? Is there no compliance? So the security compliance layers are critical. So we've built that onto our self-custody solution, and that's something that we're quite happy about. So I think more of such innovation, more of such focus from across the ecosystem to build these systems that combine the best of what this new innovation can bring, as well as what's important about traditional systems and traditional, secure, established systems. I think that's support.
Absolutely. And just touching on what you just mentioned, that how the smart contract itself and capability of being programmable can build system that I think what previously MAS talked about being compliant by design. And this is, again, we have to be very thankful of how the regulators have been shaping some of this frontier of this technology adoption out of Singapore itself, which is how we managed to get some of this working the last few years itself. But if you look ahead, then what are the trends that you're most excited about? Like personally, we as a stablecoin issuer and a payment players has been in the cross-border payment space for many, many years right now. This part is the real-world usage of stablecoin specifically for cross-border payments, and to really drill down the use cases in terms of FX is what we are seeing institutional adoption from. because ability to move funds across countries at the speed of the internet and get FX finality immediately because of the fact that you are now using what I call digital cash instead of digital money in the form of stablecoin is quite a game changer, at least from the industrial players that we work with. We'd love to hear your take on how this space will continue evolving and how OKX see this space as well.
The trends that I'm most excited about are very similar to what you just said, which is that which relate to making digital assets a part of everyday life. And those use cases that you mentioned are exactly payments. So helping people to make smoother payments at lower cost to other people, to businesses, that's going to transform e-commerce globally. And I'm very excited to see what happens there. Cross-border payments is one that you mentioned, the big one that we believe is more potential for stablecoins and for the infrastructure to really facilitate. The key is to make it feel like it's actually not very different from what users are used to doing. If they need to change their user behavior, it's going to be very difficult. So the magic happens when they do the same thing they used to do, is scan a QR code. But then the result is better than what it used to be. Lower fees, faster clearance, more secure. These things are important. So that's kind of, I think, where the industry is headed. And those are the trends that I'm most excited about. FX conversion, as you mentioned also. I mean, it's really quite expensive. It's even more expensive if you're trying to convert the FX and then transfer it cross-border.
Exactly.
And I think that's exactly what businesses like yourself are going to be helping people to do much more seamlessly, much more securely, and much, much more affordable.
No, I think definitely that's the aim here, because what we are seeing here, of course, at least as a personal users of this space itself, is that I think the institutional adoptions are coming, and mainly because they are probably coming in from an angle of a real world use cases instead of a speculative one. And if you look at the top exchanges in the world, that's the mind space are in the same space where the next enablement of large use cases of stablecoin will be more stablecoin to stablecoin of different currency FX that will be happening on exchanges like OKX itself. And then on a bigger part of this is that the technology is evolving where we are all more excited about is on-chain FX, because when a stablecoin can be done itself through a smart contract, through AMM, that ability to get the accessibility out there, the programmability will enable developers around the world to build innovative solutions that we might not even be thinking about it today, because that's how the technology works itself. And we are already starting to see a trend that the adoption is definitely moving towards the right direction itself, which is why I think we're all very excited, right? So by the time the video is out, we should be able to talk about this, that starting from all the OKX Pay users, when they are in Singapore itself, they will be able to soon scan and pay at all the Grab merchants offline, all the merchants that support Grab Pay. And that says something about the technology being adopted at masses, right? First coming from a major exchange in the world, and all its users, when they'll be able to just buy a coffee at all the Grab merchants in Singapore itself. And the more important part is that all these things are done seamlessly, transactional level, with stablecoin. And they will not be having to understand how these things work. They will be doing the thing they have been used to, which is basically scanning, paying for the goods and services, and just pick up their goods and leave the counter, right? Which is something that I'm truly excited to talk about. We'd love to hear what you think about this.
I'm really, really excited. I think this is the one project that I'm most excited about since I've joined this industry and joined OKX. Yeah, I mean, it's a chance to work with my previous employer, Grab, who I still think it's one of the most powerful change makers in the region, right?
Definitely.
And you,
thank you.
Somebody that has been building for so long in this space, a true OG in this space, that is really, I believe, I think we can all agree, you're a trailblazer.
Thank you.
And so being able to stand on the shoulders of the two giants and bring what we know best and do that together, that's really exciting for me. Plus, be able to then help users do what they already do every single day, but in a way that's more seamless, more secure, and more affordable. I think this is a really an opportunity, dream come true.
And something, thanks for that, Gracie. But what I think I was truly excited as an engineer is the fact that how this thing is working behind the scene, whereby every transaction itself, I think we can probably say is a world first, is allowing stablecoin to be used at a transactional level to settle immediately with the actual merchants as though that is like digital cash, right? And we have seen this iteration of this technology over the years itself, where folks have been talking about this being able to be done. and then actually doing it is actually a completely different story.
Yeah.
But because of the fact that the transaction is being done on a transactional level, we are enabling a future of a lot more different application whereby on-chain FX, which we keep talking about, can now be a reality because it can be done at a transactional level via on-chain swap at the small denomination itself. And you can think about the capability that we can build on top of that because of the programmable nature of the blockchain. You can start thinking about digital vouchers, rewards, and point systems that can be built on top of this framework. And very proud to have OKX Pay to be the first major player from the crypto side to actually adopt this technology.
Thank you for partnering us to do this. It's nice to be building the future together.
So now for the most interesting part, which a lot of our viewers really enjoy from the feedback that we get from them. So some quick fire question for Gracie here. So first one the way, right? So what is one crypto myth you wish would go away?
That we are the Wild Wild West run by crypto bros who party all day long.
But the Wild Wild West, videos that you guys did was really good though.
That's Mau Mau West.
Mau West. Okay.
Exactly, because we are trying to debunk that myth. That's why we did it.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a good one. So another question. So what is the most underrated use cases for stablecoin in your opinion?
I mean, I think you agree with me. FX conversion.
Definitely.
We're talking about FX conversion, seamless, affordable, instantaneous. I think that's one.
Yeah, the fact that you can do it on chain and do it in the programmable fashions and have the instant finality in both the FX and settlement, I believe will be a major game changer. So book or thinker that you think shaped your leadership style?
Yeah, this is an interesting question. I really like the Culture Code by Daniel Coyle.
Oh.
He follows and he studies these very high performing teams across industries, including Navy SEAL.
Okay.
And he comes to the conclusion that it all comes down to one thing: consistent behaviors that build a sense of belonging and psychological safety. That is what differentiates his high performing teams from other teams.
Well, you're a good pitch and seller for the book. Do you have the book? Can I borrow it?
It's a very good book. Yes, I will pass it to you.
I'll borrow the book.
The thing is, it's not easy to do, especially when things are moving fast, especially when stakes are high. And sometimes, and so I'm still trying to work on this as well, right? Sometimes it's easy to get caught up in looking for results and just moving to the next thing and just keep pushing. It's easy to forget the human side of things. So it's a very, very important reminder, especially in industries like ours where things are moving so quickly.
Yeah, I think a lot of time, in doing startup or doing anything, it's always the hard things that matter. So one or two hard things that you have to do that really matters.
Correct. So I need to constantly remind myself of that.
Okay.
Keep working on it.
Ask for the book to take a look. Maybe another question. So a TradFi habit that you think you're glad crypto left behind?
Makeup and heels.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're seeing the white shoe today. Okay, it makes a huge difference.
So much more comfortable, so much more efficient.
That's one thing that I'm always glad that even though we've been doing this space for 10 years, I have never put on a tie. So which is something that I'm really glad that I don't have to do.
Yeah.
So maybe finally, in one word, what does the future of finance look like to you?
On-chain.
Definitely. I think that's something that a lot of the folks from where we are coming from a technologist at heart, the whole tech started from the white paper, but the fact that you can complete and do finality and programmably to a Turing complete fashion directly on chain is what I feel is the technology breakthrough that will be building a lot of the new future product that we haven't even think about.
The future is already here.
Yes, the future is already here. So with that, thank you everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.